My papa, Peter Tibble-Partos, was born on September the 4th, 1936, meaning he was 3 when the Second World War started. However, he lived in Hungary. The Nazis did not begin to occupy Hungary until 1944, meaning my grandfather was much older and remembered everything. This is his story. Jewish businesses began to be closed down or given to non-Jewish families. My great-nudge-papa had a chemist shop. He was a pharmacist and his shop was taken away and given to a non-Jewish family, along with half of the family home. The Jewish population began to be forced to wear a yellow Star of David, so everyone knew they were a Jude. Yellow stars made you a second-class citizen open for abuse. My great-nudge-mama was a very prideful woman, so she stitched the star intricately onto my papa's clothes, saying, "If we are going to be singled out, we will do it with pride." This caused a lot of tension between my papa's parents. My papa's father was violent and aggressive, but he was a strong character, and if he hadn't been so vicious and strong, they might not have survived. The Nazis started to round up the Hungarian Jews and take them to the ghettos. In the courtyard of the family home, lined up at gunpoint, my great-nudge-mama, who spoke fluent German, got on her hands and knees and begged them not to take the family. They kicked her to the floor and laughed, saying they'll be back for them. My papa watched from the balcony in the courtyard as he hid his baby brother Polly in the kitchen cupboard. The family used an empty lift shaft to hide in, which saved them many times. My great-nudge-papa was very good at talking to people, and he befriended lots of different people who informed them of when the Nazis would be coming. He would receive this information from those he had befriended and take his wife and children to the lift shaft to hide. The lift shaft saved them many, many times. As well as this, due to the complete alienation of the Jewish population, with the remaining of them being placed in ghettos or working camps, it was impossible to make any money, and it was very difficult to feed the family. As the war continued, the Hungarian Jews were taken out of the ghettos and put into concentration camps to be killed. My papa and his family stayed hiding in the lift shaft. They and one single cousin were the only surviving members of the family from the Holocaust. My great-nudge-papa had amazing courage and managed to get hold of some fake documentation that saved his 2 sons.
Dear children, this is the copy of Dad's proof of Swiss citizenship during the war. Also, his baptism certificate on April the 23rd, 1945. One thing you can be very proud of is your grandfather did everything possible to save his family.
People who survived the Holocaust often did one of these 2 things. They either became more religious and had lots of children to replace the lost ones, or behave as if they are still in hiding. In 1956, during the Hungarian Revolution, my grandfather escaped and came to England. He went straight to Bristol, but couldn't get any lodgings. All the signs said no dogs, no Irish, and no foreigners. He found a Hungarian couple who gave him a room. He worked 20 hours a day with 4 or 5 jobs to earn a living, as he had no money. He met my grandmother at a party, and they fell in love. My grandmother left her husband for my papa, and they moved to London. My papa had to pay for her, as she was already married. They had 2 beautiful children, Sarah and my father, Andrei. Although my grandmother herself was a Russian Jew whose family were in ghettos in Russia, he didn't tell her he was Jewish for many years. My papa was always frightened to tell people he was Jewish, even in the UK. He would not tell anyone of his religion, and told my dad and auntie, if they were ever asked, to deny them being Jewish. My papa was always in hiding and terrified. He would become very upset if he found out about my family speaking of Jewishness. At home, he was proud of his religion and open, and used to make my auntie watch horrible documentaries about the camps to educate her. Most sadly of all, the only time he was open about being Jewish was when he got a terminal cancer diagnosis. It was the first time he acknowledged it because they can't get me now because the cancer has got me. He started to go to synagogue and visited Auschwitz. He found a lot of the family names. He never had the courage before to tell anyone he was Jewish. At his funeral, most people had no idea why my grandfather was being buried in a Jewish cemetery, because they had no idea he was Jewish. I never met my papa, as he passed away many years before I was born, but my grandma always made me feel as if I knew him. She kept him alive inside her. My grandma was the most amazing person in the world, and I am going to keep their life and their love story alive.